Everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, the show where we talk the Marvel shows on Disney Plus and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You join the chat and the fun theory talk. If you're a subscriber over there, we'd love to have you in on the fun conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube the very next day where it drops at 12 noon Eastern. Give it a watch, give it a listen over there, and let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Today we are continuing our Miss Marvel talk, and we're talking about episode 5 titled Time and Again. Okay, so leaving off on a low note, in my opinion, here's our recap. So we went to Karachi to chat with Grandma about our train vision. Met up with the Red Daggers. They said they were going to help us understand the Bangle, us being Kamala, because that's me now. Help us understand the Bangle, the visions, etc. Najma and her squad are going to escape from damage control and show up and get into a fight with Kamala along with the Red Daggers. And Najma is going to stab the Bangle of Kamala, transporting Kamala back to the partition. And we learn that the Clandestines, or Najma and her squad, are going to use the Bangle to tear down the veil, the barrier between their home and us, and they're going to fuck shit up. There's your recap. So we get the opening, get a little fun moment here, black and white, old-timey footage where the frames kind of cut out here and there, and we get a little bit of background information about the partition itself. So the show's going to open up. We're going to British-occupied India in 1942, and we see Aisha running from, I presume, those ruins, running from a man with a gun. She's going to take him out with a throwing knife. Then we get the Miss Marvel open. Why do we have two? I don't know. Aisha's going to arrive to kind of this village, I guess you could call it, and there's a man riling up a crowd, talking about taking back their land and like just the struggles that have gone on there. Heads up. Excuse me. Just kind of riling up the crowd there, and we'll see some British soldiers arrive and break up the whole situation there. The next day, we're going to see Aisha kind of napping by a tree, and she's going to get woken up by this man. The man will offer shelter to her, and this is where the thought I had was like, is this the grandfather? This is how they meet? Typical love story? Well, not typical, but, you know, basic love story. Hey, how's it going? Okay, we're together now. Offers some a meal and tries to get some information out of her, name, what she's looking for, and he recites this poem to her, which is where we'll get the line of what you seek is seeking you. So we learn that that's from the poem from this guy who we learn his name is Hassan. All right, so we get a time jump, and Aisha is going to now gift Hassan a new walking stick. We had seen his character suffers from either a limp or something is wrong with his leg. She's going to offer him a proper walking stick and cane instead of the branch or tree that he does use. And she thanks him for making a home for her there, and we get the big reveal that she is pregnant. Jeez, time flies. We're going to time jump again, and we got Hassan listening to the radio as Aisha takes care of her daughter. Unfortunately, the stuff on the radio Hassan is not happy about. It's talking about the bloodshed that has happened through the rioting and other events of the partition, and obviously it's not great because this is their homeland, and you know it's not being treated well along with the people. And we're going to learn a little bit more of why Hassan is feeling tense in this situation, obviously along with the radio. The two are going to get some food and drink delivered by another man in the village, and he just offers it to them, doesn't want to be paid or anything like that. And Hassan kind of snaps on him and says he doesn't want their charity, and he's wondering why people won't deal with him, why they won't buy his flowers, why they won't even talk to him. And he brings up his religion. Is it because he's Muslim? And it's a whole, like I said, tense situation. Obviously, a lot is going on during this time. The music will get tense as this man leaves after delivering these supplies to them, and Aisha shuts the door. But before she shuts the door, she does notice that there is something outside that is a problem. And guess who it is? It's Najma. Najma runs up. The two have reunited after their little expedition. Yeah. In the tombs, wherever the bangle was hidden. She goes outside, runs to Najma. Najma hugs her. And she's like, okay, now that I found you, because apparently it's been a while, we can put our plan to action to get home. And Aisha seems tentative because now she has her husband and her daughter there. She has a family life here. She doesn't want to leave, presumably. And she claims to have hidden the bangle. Like, she can't help right now. She hid the bangle to keep it safe. Najma says okay and gives her pretty much an ultimatum of like, you have until sundown tomorrow has until sundown tomorrow, and then they all return home together. Lovely. So Aisha now decides, okay, it's time to leave. They're going to leave due to the riots. Hassan does not want to because of all the family ties. This is his family's home. But Aisha talks to them both, convinces Hassan as well as their daughter Sana to leave and get to safety, especially for Sana's sake. She's going to give Sana the bangle as well in this moment as they're going to leave for the train station. As they're leaving for the train station, we're going to see a whole movement of people following the path to the train station to either escape or return to their homeland. And we're going to see Hassan kind of be protective of his wife, as he should be, but is really concerned with what she's running from. He knows it's not the situation that's going on. Obviously, that's tense as well, but he feels like it's something else. And Aisha is going to kind of share about the bangle and the situation that is going on. Not in full detail, but shows that the bangle has powers. All right, so now we're going to kind of conclude this story of Sana and how we know in past episodes, like how she got lost from her father. She was able to find her father again, and they were able to get on the last train. So Aisha, Sana, and Hassan are traveling through the crowd, and Aisha's going to notice that it is not safe. Najma is following them. She sends off Hassan and Sana to get on the train. Aisha will turn back, confronts Najma, where unfortunately she is stabbed in the chest. Lovely. Aisha cries out to Najma, saying the bangle won't work, it won't get them home. Najma doesn't care. During this, Hassan is going to lose Sana as Sana kind of sneaks off looking for her mom, shouts out for her, calls out for her. She's very, very small. I'd say maybe 3, 4 tops. She's scared. Why she left her dad, I don't know, but maybe just to find her mom, essentially. And Aisha, struggling with her stab wound, as one would, has a photo of the family, speaks the "what you seek is seeking you" line. The bangle from Sana holding it, along with Aisha's eyes, start to glow. The bangle will drop to Sana's feet, and we learn why Kamala has been brought here. Kamala is back in time at the partition, and we're now back to her POV. This is where I ask, is Kamala going to be the guiding sparkles that gets Sana back to her dad? And guess what? Yes. Kamala finds Aisha. The two talk for a second. Aisha thinks that she's Sana. Totally wrong there, obviously. And Aisha will hand her the photo of the family, and unfortunately she will die there. Kamala, then on a mission to find Sana, does find her and attempts to carry her to find Hassan. The crowd is too thick, so she uses her powers to kind of have Sana use them as footholds to kind of walk upon. Unfortunately, Kamala's going to get bumped into. This will affect her concentration, causing Sana to fall, not a high distance, to fall, as well as the foothold to fall and create these sparkles, which will then continue to guide Sana to her father. The two enter the train. Train leaves. The bangle will glow, bringing Kamala back to present day. So essentially, we just know that Kamala went back in time due to this event and is the cause for Sana returning to her father. Like Mrs. G says in chat, this is exactly like Harry Potter. Yes, this is the whole time turner situation of Prisoner of Azkaban, spoilers, where Hermione and Harry go back in time and they do all these chain of events to keep the whole path going for the whole Remus storyline and the Hippogriff not getting killed. Yes, this is exactly the same thing. Why did we need this? I guess we'll talk about that later. So anyways, Kamala goes back to present time. And we see everyone kind of stirring around her. And it seems like some kind of concussion blast must have happened while the bangle was stabbed, as they're all kind of slowly stirring and getting up. And at this moment, we'll also see that the veil is now open. We'll see this like kind of energy ripple going on. One of the followers is going to go to the veil. Obviously, they're happy that they can attempt to go home. And as they approach it, they are killed. They are essentially turned into this like dark crystallized structure around them, and they kind of melt into their, like, the structure melts and their skeleton is inside and crumbles onto the ground. Lovely. Apparently the veil is unstable. It's putting out a lot of energy. Kamala attempts to stop it with a burst of her own energy and plasma, whatever we're calling this crystallized power that she has from the bangle. Does not work, but she is going to help get the citizens that are around in this like marketplace, get them to safety along with the Red Dagger's help. Creates a barrier to protect them, gets all of them out. Najma still wants to attempt to escape. Geez, she is really determined to get back home. I mean, it's been a while. I guess that makes sense. Kamala says it won't work, and you still have Kamran. Don't just sacrifice yourself and then leave Kamran with nothing. You still have him. Kamala tries to convince her about this relationship. Najma says, you know, you're right. I can close it. Approaches the veil, says Kamran's name, and dies. Same thing, like Mr. G says once again, turns into this coal-like structure, melts skull, bones, rippity-doo-dah. The veil will seal, though, so hey, that's good. But in this kind of weird hocus-pocus thing, because she mentioned Kamran's name, we'll see the energy wisp, Jesus Christ, travel and transfer into Kamran. Okay. Mom and Sana have now arrived. Grandma Sana have arrived, asking what's happening. Oh my God, you're the light girl. The family's magical. Blah, blah, blah. We have this big kind of like healing moment between obviously Kamala and her mom, the mom and the grandmother, obviously the grandmother being proud of Kamala. It's a whole nice moment here. We're going to say our goodbyes to the Red Dagger kid. Sorry, I don't remember his name. And then they just, you know, peace out. The Red Dagger kid gives over his red handkerchief to Kamala. Maybe that'll be part of her outfit costume as we go forward and get the big reveal at the end of the series. Mom will also find Kamala's broken necklace, which does resemble the Miss Marvel lightning bolt, so that's nice. And yeah, we get this big healing moment where, you know, they all apologize to each other. Mom apologizes to Kamala for being too strict, didn't want to let her go. Grandma apologizes to Mom, saying she didn't hold tight enough and kind of just had this loose relationship with her. Everyone's healing, group hug, the family photo. That's great. Was that the only reason we went back in time? Sure seems it. Yeah. And then we'll get our closing scene of this episode. We're going to go back to Jersey, go back to the Circle Q. We're going to see Bruno taking out the trash, and he's going to get spooked and confronted by Kamran. Kamran's looking for help. Obviously, he was also in damage control. Apparently, he was able to make his escape separate from the squad and his mother. And he's looking for assistance. Bruno takes him in. The two reintroduce themselves after this, like, awkward situation between them. And Kamran finally realizes his name is not Brian, it's Bruno. Apologizes for that miscommunication. And, you know, Kamran essentially explains, like, he's on his own. He does believe his mom will come back, but he needs to stay there. Bruno does mention that his parents aren't around, so we get confirmation from him that he's on his own. And essentially, Kamran is scared in this situation. Doesn't want to be alone. Obviously, his mom's not around. And damage control is not going to leave him alone. As he's saying this, we will see a drone approach the window from damage control. Kamran is going to shoot out a blast, causing it to fly off course, shooting a rocket into the Circle Q and destroying it. The last thing we're going to hear is Bruno shouting out, "Oh my God, you have powers too!" And that will be where the episode ends for this week. No post-credit sequence still. And yeah, overall thoughts. I'm not going to lie. The series is losing me a little bit. Last episode we talked about, it's just didn't seem like there was a lot of build. Obviously, we went to Karachi for this whole big thing, which same with this episode. And it didn't feel like we did anything. Like, I thought we were supposed to go to Karachi and have this moment with Kamala with her and her grandma where we're going to get information. The bangle, the powers, the relationship of, like, why this is affecting her and allowing these powers to go out. Only thing we got was grandma saying, "Yes, you are Daijin." That was it. Then we got this whole red dagger sequence. Is that just to get the red garb for the outfit and the blue sash? We got we got a little bit of exposition from the leader of the Red Daggers of, like, the whole veil situation and the two homes, I guess. But I don't know. Other than that, it seemed not pointless, but it didn't really move anything forward. Like I said, what was the point of Kamala being the saving force and the sparkles? That didn't feel necessary to me. I understand explaining the family origin and things like that, but nothing came out of it. The only thing that came out of it now, the veil was opened, Najma and her squad were killed, and now the energy is in Kamran. So you're telling me that our threat of Najma, which was snap, turn around 180 when she was finally introduced, is gone, but the energy is obviously in Kamran. Kamran doesn't seem to be evil now. He still seems the same. He has the powers, but he's not corrupted. He hasn't turned. He's nothing like... So he's not the new bad guy. Is damage control now the big bad? Which is fine, but they don't feel built up. We had the moment where the one agent went into the mosque and was all, "Oh, I'm a bitch." Went in there, and then we haven't done anything with them. And that was what, episode 2? Episode 3 was the breakout. No, that was 4. Okay, I'm sorry. Episode 3, the group got captured. Episode 4 was the breakout. And then now they just show up at the end. They don't feel earned. Nothing they've done, like, it doesn't feel earned for us to be scared as an audience. Like, oh my God, yeah, that's the thing that Kamala's going to have to overcome. Just, I don't know. It's odd. Now, granted, I didn't expect for this series to be like, oh my God, Kamala's got to save the freaking universe or the world now. Like, she just is learning her powers. We talked about this, like, coming of age story for Kamala, learning about herself, getting a little comfortable, and maybe it was this, like, new superhero versus damage control. Like, that would just be our escalation of the big bad. But then we got Najma and her squad introduced, And it was like, oh, okay, we are going with a little bit more of a life-threatening threat, or like a bigger antagonist, I guess you could say, than just police and vigilante. I don't know. It's odd. There's no build or tension going into episode 6 besides Bruno's house being blown up. That's it. I'd get it if Kamran was acting a little weird because of the veil powers. Like, oh, he's corrupt now. We got to save our husbando. Like, that would make sense, at least to me, of like the tenseness. But I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anything built here going into the finale. So I think the series has lost me in these last 2 episodes. I will say, however, because I like to be a positive person sometimes, Kamala is fantastic. And the actress that they have decided to cast for Kamala is nailing this. She is amazing. I should probably look up her name and then unfortunately butcher the pronunciation, which I apologize for. She is fantastic. I have no doubt in her and how she's portraying the character, and like the goofiness from the earlier episodes. That is what I picture Kamala as. These later episodes, once again, I get that she is discovering herself and her family origins. It's not working for me. Iman Vellani doing a fantastic job. She is great. 100% good with her. Can't wait to see what they do down the road with her, when she does get into the Avengers, or at least crosses paths with some other heroes. I'm all ready for that. But I want the fangirl Kamala that we saw in these earlier episodes. Like, she's trying to do right, but she's kind of dorky and geeky about it. That's fine. There's no personality in these like later episodes. It's just the story's progressing, but there's no character behind it, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm hoping for a turnaround with the finale, but once again, it doesn't feel like we have any kind of threat or problem as of right now. So it doesn't feel like other finales, at least from Disney Plus standpoints, where like it's tense, or like you're waiting, you're like, oh my god, how are they going to figure out this problem that they have? Right now, it's just meh. And we had a rocket blow up a fucking building, and I feel like, what? Wednesday's just gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, it's time to watch. I don't know. So I hope there's a turnaround. Like I said, I'm excited to see more of Kamala and Iman go on with this character, but for right now, it's kind of hit this flat line for me. Next series after this is She-Hulk. Maybe a lawyer show will be interesting. I'm a little iffy on how the character looks in the trailer, but it is what it is. We'll have to see how that one rolls out. But this has been another episode of the Marvel Plus podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Join the chat if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you in on all the fun theory talk and discussion. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube, where it drops at 12 noon Eastern. You check it out over there, give it a watch, give it a listen, and let us know in the comment section down below what you think of the show so far. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Hope you guys are excited for Ms. Marvel's finale, and as well as Thor Love and Thunder, which dropped recently, and She-Hulk, which drops soonish. But hope you guys are looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me, and I hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.